Hey guys, I'm Cody the Coder. I'm here to help you meet your goals as a computer programmer. So let's see, whether you. So personally, for me, I currently make $80,000 a year as a remote Rails engineer. Uh, Full remote. But if I were really, a corporate hound who was just trying to make as much money as possible, I've previously held positions with salaries of $95,000 a year, or, uh, if you get on the career track at one of the big four tech companies, which are Amazon, Google, Microsoft. I can't remember the fourth one. Do you think it's like Oracle or something? Hmm. Let's see. Big four tech companies. Apple? Okay, cool. Facebook? Seriously? Okay, well, whatever. Those are the fucking, those are the big four. So, yeah, but anyway, thanks to my $80,000 a year, full remote software engineering job, and, for a Ruby on Rails engineer, software engineer is a bit of a stretch. I mean, I'm really just a web developer, but there tends to be a lot of title inflation in every field. I worked someplace one time where where someone had the job happiness engineer. It's everyone's an engineer, service engineer. But yeah, so anyway, my point is, if you learn computer programming now, you're going to be on the bleeding edge of making money, having a good job, having job security, having freedom in your job so that, I'm a digital nomad. I became a programmer because, I was teaching kindergarten when I was younger, and, I was making like $4 an hour. And then all of these tech guys I would meet at couch surfing meetups would be making something like, 30 to 90 euro an hour. And they weren't even trying, 200 euro an hour as a consultant. So this is really the foundational skill that is going to help you to make all of your personal financial goals come true. And so I'm going to show you how to do it from square one. Let's go. So this is Sublime Text Editor, pretty good text editor. All code is basically just text. So all code is basically just text, and I mean, you could be doing this in like Notepad or something, but personally, I think the syntactic highlighting is pretty useful. Cool. Yeah, so this is my favorite way to teach coding. You just use um, HTML body tag. So I'm going to be doing the first segment with JavaScript. JavaScript is ubiquitous. It's one of the three core technologies of the internet. This is just some HTML. Opening HTML tag, opening body tag, header tag, script tag. So here, if we try to log to the JavaScript, so here, you can see it all lights up in like a pretty cool way. Like that's pretty great thing about using a text editor is that you can see, yeah, so there you go. Now the message has printed to the JavaScript console. You can see the HTML on the left. Yeah, that's pretty much. So here's a couple basics of coding. This is console.log. You use this a lot when you're debugging. So if something's broken, what's common is to just log out variables. So you just print the variable. So you just print out the variable within a console.log, And then usually that can help you to get an idea about where things are going wrong, and it can help you to learn. It can help you to, debug. So here I'm declaring a variable called name. Variables hold a value, and you use one equal sign to assign a variable. Var is variable. If I were like some great coder, I'd be using let. But anyway, so you just declare the variable. Variables can have different types. My age is 22. Oh, I should probably make that a number, not a string. Integer, not a string. And here you can see a string is a sequence of characters that form text. So, and then this plus, it's called concatenate. So you concatenate a variable into the string, and I'm pretty sure you can just, if you use an integer, it will just automatically convert it to a string for you. So there you go. Yeah, Cody's Code Camp is off to an amazing start. I'm currently chewing nicotine gum. It's considered a nootropic. I should probably spit that out though. It's cool. So here is my first lesson of coding. You get some variables. You assign the variables, and then you print the statement. So let's comment this stuff out, but we're going to come back to that later. So now the next stage is your code is divided into functions. You probably know from like math class that a function is something like 2x plus 1 equals y, or something like that. And so these functions, they have an input, which is x, and an output, which is y. So you can say that the function results in y. So if you were to run this function with x equals 4, then y will equal 9. So this would also be called the parameter, and this would be called the return value or the output. So I hope that this refresher on high school algebra, which, I never use high school algebra either. I hope that refresher on algebra is going to be useful for what I show you now. So welcome to Code Camp. Name and age. Cool. So we're just going to use these two print statements, these console logs that we have here. And so now with this, not a fan. Have you seen that episode of Silicon Valley with the tabs versus spaces? I do not like tabs. There you go. So this is called a block of code. It's just like a section of code. And this is called a function. These are the parameters of the function, the name and the age. So then we go down here into these two lines of code, and then we print the name, and then we print the age. So we can call Welcome to Code Camp for any name and any age. It's a good name. Manbir and 88. We can do it for Divya and 15. We can do it for Zenus and 29. And now, so I'm saving the file every time. I'm hitting Command S here. Now when we go over here, welcome to Code Camp Manbir. You are 88 years old. Welcome to Code Camp. So you see over on the right, it's used the name parameter and the age parameter to welcome 3 different people to Code Camp. And one of the basic rules of code is dry. Do not repeat yourself. Stands for dry. And so basically, if we weren't using the function, then we would have to write this same exact block of code, or the same exact section of code up here, for every single one of the people and every single age. So you see, if we define a function, then that means that we're able to get the same result with much fewer lines of code. And that's considered good style. It's efficient in terms of developer time. It's efficient in terms of getting results. And it's efficient in terms of, you can also reuse the function as many times as you want. So, maybe we can apply this somewhere else. But you see, isn't this down here a lot better than what we have up here? It's like, let's count this as 6 lines of code compared to like 12 lines of code. Yeah, so that's a function. So I think that is a good introduction into what a function is. So now let's try writing a couple more functions. Function age limit age. So if age is greater than 20, print welcome to the party. Otherwise, print no kids allowed. So yeah, now we can test the output of our code. This block up here, welcome to Code Camp, you need to call a function later on, otherwise that code never gets run. So 25, 19, and 11. So now I would expect this to print, welcome to the party, no kids allowed, no kids allowed. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, so it did work. So this is an example of an if-else statement. You have to remember to write, this is called a curly brace, this is called a parentheses. So the condition is here inside the parentheses, and then this over here, the curly brace. If this condition is true, then this statement will run. Otherwise, this statement will run. So this else relies on this if to decide what to do. You're going to be using, it's called a logic gate. That's kind of highfalutin language for a country boy like me. But you're going to be using, let's see, else if, I never use these, it's just for a demonstration. I think, so let's see, so this else if, you can see how it works. First, this statement will be checked. Actually, this isn't very good because this condition, so they run in order. So if someone's 65, the first statement is going to run. But then if this statement isn't true, then the second statement is going to run. So, if someone's greater than 60, then this statement is going to run, and then it's just going to exit out. So actually, well, I can even show that how that's going to work. So this is going to print welcome to the party. It's not going to print no seniors allowed because only one of these three conditions is going to run. See, I was right. So our two options are either here to write an and statement and age is less than 60, or our second option is just to switch the order of these two. And put the age is greater than 61 first. And then if it's greater than 60, it's going to exit out on the first one. Otherwise, it's going to exit out on the second one with welcome to the party. There you go. So we can also be sure this is going to work with a 21-year-old. Bam! Yeah, so I think that's a good explanation of how to use if, else if, and else. You know, I can make some more examples of how to use functions if and else. So function, let's see, Cody's coding casino. Cody's coding, I guess it's a casino. No, it's not a casino. I will show you how to play blackjack later, though. So function animal. So this is not the most sophisticated example, but I am doing this all off the cuff. I don't believe in preparing, and I want you to see it's all extemporaneous. It's all... What does the fox say? They don't say anything. I don't like... The song's not cool. Fish. Cool. So yeah, here you see equals equals checks to see if the two things are equal. And in this case, it's going to be checking if this string equals this string. So let's rename, because we use the word animal, so you want your variables to be named in a clear way, and that applies to your functions too. So I'm just going to call it say name. Yeah, and I was using snake case because I'm a Ruby. You see, it looks like a snake, I guess. So because I'm a Ruby developer, Ruby is normally in snake case. JavaScript, I think, is supposed to be in camel case. And then the third one is called Pascal case. So it's just a matter of taste, but because this is JavaScript, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to use camel case instead of snake case, so I changed it to camel case. It's supposed to look like a camel with one hump. Let's see, so... Cool. Camel case. Ah! So in this case, I left the word camel case up here, and it was it wasn't valid code, so that means that the rest of the code wasn't able to execute. So now here we've got exactly what we expected. So there you go. Yeah. So that shows how to use more else ifs. Else. So the else will apply to anything that wasn't met by one of the previous ifs or else ifs. So you can put, any animal in there. And it's just going to do the same thing. So it's a catch-all in case none of the other conditions are true. So yeah, I'm pretty new to this whole YouTube personality thing. So I'm gonna save this video.